So in this video, we're going to look at the process for downloading and processing your home full cycle renewals. To begin with, just go to Options and go to Renewals. You'll see a message here that says you are about to download live home renewals. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Then click Yes to continue. So once you've downloaded your renewals, you'll be presented with the renewal screen. Note at the top section of the screen there's a filter options. So you can sort for your renewals by insurer type. Alternatively, you can search by client or policy code, or policy number, or renewal date range. So if you click on the drop down here for renewal status, you can see that the policies in the home full cycle system could have a number of different statuses. So just to explain the difference between them. So you can see the first one here is renewal not invited. So when you downloaded your renewals, they weren't able to match up with a policy in your system. So that could be for a date difference, not matched reason, or multiple possible matches. You also might see the status, or will see the status for manual renewals or non-full cycle renewals. Next one there is renewal invited. So assuming the download has matched up, the validation process has taken place, then the status will say renewal invited, and then it's ready to be offered. Renewal offered is where you'll see when you actually have offered the renewal. Lapse pending is what you'll see temporarily while a policy is being lapsed. Insurer to be contacted, so that means that the invite has been suspended or cancelled. Not matched up. So not matched means that the invite cannot be matched up for whatever reason. So the system allows you to search and try and match it up by policy number or address or so on. Multiple possible matches means there's more than one policy with the same policy number in your system, so it needs manual intervention to associate it to the correct policy. Date difference means the difference in the renewal date between what the broker has on file and what the insurer has on file. So again, this requires manual intervention by the agent to clarify the date. Invitation issue simply means there's an issue with the renewal invite. And renewal exception, you'll only see this if you're using batch processing. So it basically means the batch process has not been able to successfully offer a renewal. The final two statuses here are referrals. So this is basically if you are using the RSA referral system at the invite or offer stage. In addition to the filters options, if you just go to options on the left hand side, you'll see an option here called export to Excel. So what this will do is allow you to pull out your renewals into a spreadsheet. So if you don't apply any filters, it'll pull all of your renewals into a spreadsheet for you to review. Alternatively, you could do a search for renewals invited, for example. And once you have a list, you could use the export to Excel to pull that out. Please note at the base of the screen, you can see there's a button here for a refresh. So the refresh button displayed on the renewals page will update the invites and renewal policies by downloading the latest invites and importing any policies due for renewal. So similar to full cycle motor renewals, there's certain statuses that we need to look at initially before we proceed. So those statuses would be date difference, not matched, and multiple possible matches. So that brings us to the status of not matched. So the reason you're seeing this not matched status is because the renewal has been sent down by RSA and the invite has not been able to match up with the policy in your system for a variety of different reasons. Okay, so a common reason might be that you have a client portfolio, in this case for Danny Rez, and you could have more than one RSA home policy on the portfolio. So the invite doesn't know which one to match up with, so it needs intervention. So to do this, there's an associate button at the base of the screen. Just click on the associate button and it opens up the client search. Okay, so in most cases, all you need to do here is simply type in the name of the client, look at the options and select the correct one to pick. Now, in this particular example, I get multiple options. So what I might actually want to do is have a look at the client portfolio to be sure which one to select. However, I can also see a policy number here as well to help me. So all I basically need to do is just select the correct policy and press OK, and the system will match that up. If you're not able to match up the policy using the name, on the right hand side, just click on the green arrow button and it'll open up the search section. So you can see here it does default to name, but you can in fact search in other ways, such as policy number, policy code, renewal date, and policy reference. So if you're not able to find it by name, open up the search screen and try one of these other methods instead. So just to associate there, just click on the policy and click on associate. Again, you can type in the name or use other criteria using the green drop down button. Select the policy in question and press OK. Please note as well that if you can't actually associate a not matched policy using the name or policy number, etc., and you just cannot find it in your system, please note that we have an import button that will actually create the client portfolio or record for you automatically. So to do that, just click the import button. That will create the record. Then you can click cancel. And then when you come back to your screen, just give it a refresh. That's very important. Click the refresh button, and then the status of the policy will have changed from not matched to renewal invited. So prior to you matching up the renewal here for Danny Rez, you would have actually seen two records in the home renewal system. One was the invite from RSA, which said not matched. But there also would have been another record in there that was actually the renewal in your system that says renewal not invited. So for not matched policies, temporarily you actually see two policy lines with two different statuses. What happens is when you actually match them up, two will become one. You'll only see the status that says renewal invited instead. Note that once you have used the associate button to match up a policy, so a renewal invite policy to a broker policy, you can unbreak the match by clicking on the disassociate button at the base of the screen. So very similar to the full cycle motor system. So again, to do that, just click on the disassociate button and that will break the link and they will be unmatched again. So after you click apply, you're going to see a number of policies that may have a date difference. So the first thing you need to do is just basically process these, work through the date differences. Just one thing to note is that in this system, you will have an alternative policy that says renewal not invited. Once you've worked out the date difference, the renewal not invited will disappear. So to proceed, just select your policy. At the base of the screen here, just select match date. You will be presented with a screen that says, are you sure you wish to accept the renewal date from the insurer invite? Yes or no. So essentially you have only one option here, but to select yes and accept the RSA's renewal date. Clicking no will cancel the process and bring you back to where you were. If you object to the renewal date, you'll need to contact RSA directly, manually by phone or email. So to proceed, click yes, and that policy has now been processed. So if I just select renewal invite and apply, you can see now that Mick Foley in this particular example is ready to be invited. So the final status we're just going to look at here before inviting a renewal is that of multiple possible matches. So when an insurer's invites policy number matches more than one renewal policy, then the invite is marked as multiple possible matches, and you have the ability to select which policy the invite relates to. In order to do this, select the invite and then click the associate button. This will launch the search screen pop-up, and you can search for the client name or policy number and select the correct policy. On selecting the policy, the invite will be associated to a renewal, and the renewal policy will be marked as renewal invited. So just to recap there, before proceeding to offering your renewals, it's important to work out your date differences, your not matched, and your multiple possible matches. Once you've done that, you can then sort your renewals by renewal invite, and then if you want, you can sort by renewal dates. So you can see here now I have two policies ready to be processed. So the first one here is for Mick Foley. So the first thing I'm going to do is just select him, and I have two options here. What I can do is I can go in and have a look at his risk details and also amend his client portfolio and department and handler by clicking on the view policy button. So this brings up his risk details, and also if I go into options, I can go into the portfolio owner details and I can make changes and save them. To proceed at this point, you can click on options, renewals and amend. Alternatively, instead of going into view policy, you can actually go directly into the invite process by clicking on the amend button at the base of the screen. So if I just click that now. So this brings up his risk details, similar to the new business process. So all we have to do is just review it, just click next. Again, you can make changes to the relevant sections if you need to, and next. So this will bring you into the quote results screen. So you can see once the quote results have been displayed, you can see the current insurer RSA is actually displayed in red, so you can see their price. Also at this stage you might want to compare the quotations just to see how other policies are matching up. So if you're not aware, if you right click at this point and just click on compare quotes, then you can select again RSA and maybe compare it with 2 or 3 other providers. So just select the ones you want to compare against, and at this point you'll see a screen that displays the differences in sums insured and benefits and so on. To come out of that, just click on X, and to return just right click and just untick the compare quotes and you're back. So when you're offering renewals, you may want to offer as well an alternative with another insurer who has a cheaper price. So you can see here the RSA renewal is coming in at 316 and I have a slightly cheaper price here with Allianz. If you want to offer that, just right click on it and select use alternative premium for renewal. Click next. Just click yes to the assumptions and declarations. And then you'll be able to access the print statement of fact proposal button because you want to include that in the renewal offer. Give it a tick. And you'll get a message here that says, do you want to add this alternative statement of fact to the renewal offer document pack? Click yes. To proceed, just click on back and back one more time to the quote results screen. So once we come back to the quote results screen, you can actually see that there's three colours now in play. So we have the RSA renewal in red, we have the alternative Allianz in blue, and we have all the other prices in black. Note as well, because we have selected Allianz as the alternative, when you produce your letters in Relay, this will pull in their price into the renewal pack for you automatically. To proceed with the offer with RSA, just select RSA and click next. Click yes to the assumptions and next. If you want, you can fill in the bank details for an indemnity letter. Click next. At the top of the screen, just fill in the alarm details if applicable. At the bottom of the screen, then you have options. So offer renewal, submit referral, and confirm policy to skip the offer process and just renew it. Please note we recommend that you always offer the renewal first before proceeding to renewing it. To proceed, click on offer renewal. So this will bring you into the document management screen where you can see all the documents that are going to print off. Please note all your documents are included at the offer stage. So when you actually go to renew a policy, there will be no additional documents. So they're all included here at offer stage. Again, like the full cycle system, when you first started using it, it will default to save only. So if you just right click and print to, you can select what printer and tray you want them to go to. Remember, in future, when you come back into the system, just click on this box here, apply previously used printer selections, and it will remember your settings from before. Once you've done that, click finish. So once you're finished, you'll be brought back to the home page of the home full cycle system. So after we've offered our renewal to Mick, you may contact him or he may contact you to decide what he wants to do. So assuming he's back on the phone, the first thing you want to do is just go into the renewal offered status, and you might want to do a date range search and apply, or you could do a search for him by policy code or policy number. So here we have the renewal offer for Mick Foley. So down the base of the screen, this is where we have options. So we can decide to lapse the policy, so he's not going to proceed. He wants to make changes to the policy, so you should use the amend button, and that will recalculate the renewal offer. Or you can decide to renew the policy. So if you recall, we also offered a cheaper renewal along with RSA, so he might want to transfer that over to the alternative insurer. So assuming he does want to renew, just click on renew. And this will bring you back into the quote results screen. So once the quote screen has recalculated, you can see here in red the RSA price there for 316.88. Alternatively, there's the offer there for Allianz at 315.07. If he wants to proceed with RSA, just select the RSA renewal and click next. Alternatively, if you want to proceed with the Allianz, just select Allianz and click next. Assuming he wants to stay with RSA, because you can see in this case the price difference is negligible, just click on it and click next. Click on your assumptions and next. And at the bottom here you have two options: submit referral, so for some reason if you did want to refer it on, or confirm policy to renew. So confirm policy to renew, and in this case we're going to go ahead with RSA. So this is confirming the policy and renewing it, and then what happens next, it'll bring us into the document management screen. However, you won't see any documents. All the documents available will have been presented in the renewal invite stage. So don't expect to see any documents at this particular point. To finish, just click the finish button. So at this point, let's just look at the process for actually transferring a renewal to another insurer, just to show you what happens in the system. So you can see here I've offered a renewal for Catherine Clark. So what we can do here is just select it and select renew. So again, this will bring you into the quote results screen and it'll recalculate. So once it is recalculated, you can continue on. So you can see in this case we have RSA in red there for 7.49, and we have AXA in blue for 7.39. So the assumption is that we have offered AXA at the cheaper price, and the client has come back, Catherine, and said yes, they want to go ahead with AXA. So what do we do? So quite simply, just select AXA instead of RSA and click next. To proceed, just click on confirm policy. So once you do a transfer to an alternative insurer, what the system will do is update RSA to advise them of the lapse. So again, you can see here I'm presented a screen where I can print off my documents. If it does say save only, just right click and select your printer. To finish, just click finish at the base. So the final process which to demonstrate in this video is that of the lapse process. So how do we do that? So if you just go into your home full cycle system, and again you can select your renewal offered policies by using the drop down here. So I can see I have one here in the name of John Thompson. It's a renewal offered. The renewal date was the 25th of May, so it's now outstanding by number of days. So on the assumption he definitely wants to not renew the policy, it's definitely going to be lapsing, just select it, and at the base of the screen select lapse. Okay, so clicking the lapse button will bring up the following screen. Are you sure you wish to lapse the policy for John Thompson? So assuming you want to proceed, just click on yes. Clicking yes will start the lapse process on the renewal policy. But before the renewal is marked as lapsed, a lapse reason must be collected. So in the system you must select a reason for the lapse. So this is achieved by displaying a lapse pop-up with a drop-down to collect the given lapse reason. So the lapse reason are as displayed there on the screen. So simply select the correct one and give the green tick. So once you choose a lapse reason, either select the green tick to save your choice or click the red X to return to the renewal screen without lapsing the policy. So that will cancel the process if you click the red tick. Applied Home will send the lapse message 1 working day or more after the renewal date. So just to summarise the process again, once you've downloaded your renewals and you're presented with the renewal screen, we recommend that you work out the 3 statuses that you see here on the screen. So date difference, multiple possible matches, and not matched. So again, it's similar to the motor full cycle. Deal with those particular statuses first. Then you can be brought into the renewal invited statuses, which means they have been validated and matched up and you're ready to proceed. Then you can offer the renewal and then proceed to either confirming it, transferring it, or lapsing it. So a status that's confusing some brokers is the renewal not invited. So you're seeing this for different reasons, okay? So the reasons you might see a status as renewal not invited would include the fact that you might have already renewed the policy manually. So the renewal date is likely to be in the past and you would have already received manual renewal papers. In these cases, just highlight them and click the remove button. The system will give you an opportunity to remove it and select a reason. So another reason the status would be renewal not invited is simply because the policy is not yet up for renewal. So the renewal date is likely to be 30 days or more in the future. So RSA simply have not invited it yet. So it's basically a policy that will be invited at a later date. So another reason why the status would be renewal not invited is because when RSA invited the renewal was not able to match up with the policy details in your system. This is the reason why you might see statuses such as date difference, or not matched, or multiple possible matches. In these cases, it requires you, the broker, to carry out associations so that you can match them up. Just to conclude with the statuses, just want to clarify the difference between renewal invited and renewal offered. So renewal invited is the status you'll see when you download your renewals from RSA and they match up. Or you've had an issue such as not matched or date difference and you've matched them up, then the status will change to renewal invited. So that simply means that the renewal is ready to be invited by yourself, the broker. When you actually offer the renewal, so you rewrote the policy, print out your documents, etc., the status will change to renewal offered. So renewal invited is when you download your renewals and it's matched up with the policy in your system and it's ready to be invited. Renewal offered is when you actually have offered it to the client. Please note that when you actually have a status of renewal invited and you want to offer it, there is 2 buttons at the base here, amend and renew. Always use the amend button. Never click the renew button because that will automatically confirm the renewal and you won't be able to access the renewal documentation. So you must offer it first by using the amend button. And then when you're finished, you'll be able to get the documents that you need, such as the schedule and the prop form and so on. Another query we've had is that sometimes RSA is declining when you actually invite. So why is that? Well, the main reason that would be is because when you have gone through the risk screens, there's some missing information. So if you click back and just go back through your risk screens, you'll actually see that some information is not there. The most common reason that you would see it's declining is because occupation and status is in as unknown, and that is the main reason RSA wouldn't quote for you. So if they're not quoting or they're declining, just simply go back through the risk screens and check all your information and just fill in anything that's missing, because there will be some information that's missing. RSA doesn't have everything on file, so the first time you're inviting through the system, you need to just fill in any blanks or update some information, and then when you click next, RSA shall quote. Just another point to note there, if RSA is declining, make sure you have geocoded the address in the risk address details. If you pick none of the above, RSA will decline. Note that once you have offered renewals in the system will auto-lapse after 60 days. The auto-lapse would apply to both statuses renewal invited and renewal offered. In addition to the auto-lapse feature that's built in, so policies will auto-lapse after 60 days, there is a lapse button that you can use to lapse the button sooner. So to do that, just simply select the policy line and click the lapse button. This will send a message to RSA to let them know the policy is lapsed. Just in relation to policies that have a renewal not invited status, you might look at the renewal date and see that it's in the future. So we've had some queries about when RSA will actually invite these renewals. So generally their schedule is they work 30 days in advance. So RSA's schedule is that they will invite renewals 30 days in advance of the renewal date. Please note that the remove button that you will see available for statuses renewal not invited does not lapse a policy. It does not send any message to RSA. It simply removes the policy from the system. In addition, just a couple of more points, just in relation to policies, the remove button. So please do not remove any policies from the system unless you definitely want to get rid of them. Likewise, don't lapse policies in error because we can't reinstate them.